Okay, so hello and welcome to Tabletop Cafe. This is your one-stop shop where we serve up gaming goodness that you can use at your table for your games. My name is Michael, and for our first ever official show, we are going to bring to you a draft. If you're not familiar with this, I'm going to cover the rules later, but first we're going to meet our drafters. But as for myself, if I could pick any DC villain to be my game master, I would actually pick Mr. Mistlependalick, because with that imp's power, they can create all the things. It'd be like a hologram, it's like a holodeck style adventure. And if they ever make me mad, I'll just create a new character that's their name backwards and get them out of there. Joining me tonight, of course, is Chris.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chris, standard co-host here at Tabletop Cafe. Also get to be the game master for Smuggler's Blues, which is the continuation story of the Redemption podcast, which is still the longest running Star Wars AP. I'm still claiming that until somebody else tells me I'm wrong. But we are going on like 10 years, so it's tough to find somebody that's going to say more than 10 years. But if I had to pick a DC villain to be my game master, and I'm honest with you, I was torn. So I'm gonna roll because I had two guys I liked. And it's going to be the Riddler.
Ooh.
Because he would come up with the coolest puzzles, and I like puzzles.
I love it. All right. Joining us tonight from the home show, of course, Tabletop Journeys, is Lee Wanika.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, travelers. I'm here in the cafe, and I'm loving it. Loving it. I am so excited about this draft. This is the draft that we've been drafting so I could get to this draft. Like every draft has been a precursor and a planning for this. DC is my home, and I love it, and I'm so excited. I even put on my
nice,
my very special shirt for the event, for the occasion. This is going to be so much fun. I'm really excited.
And your GM?
I struggled with this one a bit because, I like a little bit of variety. I like a lot of different things, but in the end, I almost went with people who know a lot. I almost went with people who did some other things, but then I decided the real best answer is to go with somebody who has plots within plots, but is not afraid of action, is not afraid of bringing in extra resources. And without all else, he is all in when he's got a mat on for somebody. That is the leader of the League of Assassins himself, Ra's al Ghul.
Oh, nice. All right. I like it. All right. And then rounding out our drafters for the night as a friend of the show, Sergio. Sergio, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone. Sergio, the host of the Dungeons and Dragons Lorecast. Peep the Fit, hats, loth shirts available on our Redbubble. We talk D&D lore each and every week. I'm a fan of all things TTRPG. I won't shut up about them. As you can see, I've got books upon books upon books, and these aren't even all my shelves. If I could have a DC villain as my GM, and I'm very excited to be here because, like Lee Wanika, I cut my teeth on comic books, DC included. First off, Michael, you stole my choice, Mr.
It was my choice before you said anything.
I really feel like it wasn't, and I feel like you're a liar. And then Chris stole my second pick.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
For my villain GM, I would pick, much like Ali Wanika said, someone who has plots within plots, someone very intelligent, someone very cunning. I would pick Bane to be my GM.
All right. Can we all agree that...
And then prepare for the TPK.
Oh, yeah. Joker would be the worst, right? Like the worst possible.
See, I disagree. I think he'd be a lot of fun.
It depends on how seriously he took it. It could be... I think it could swing wildly from fantastic to the most amazing game you'd ever played to like, this guy had no idea what he was doing.
Right. And then he would literally... He would TPK, not the characters. It would literally be the, I killed my players tonight.
Right.
Yeah. The Joker would be the one. Like, it really depends on which Joker you want. Joker from The Killing Joke, that would be amazing. Joker from the Batman series, while fun when I was a kid, less so, I think, as a GM. From the Batman movie, all in. If for no other reason, if I could get Jack sitting across the table for me throwing some dice, shoot, I would steal your answer, Sergio, if I could get Jack across.
This game needs an enema. All right.
Yeah,
So let us go.
exactly.
So we are going to jump into our draft. And we've done these before on the previous feed, the RPG Academy. They still exist. So please, if you find this entertaining at all, please go check some of the other ones out, particularly the Marvel version we did of this. I think might have been the best one that we did. But what we're going to do tonight is each of our drafters are going to take turn drafting certain DC characters, heroes, as core D&D 5th edition classes. So fighter, bard, cleric, ranger, that kind of thing. Couple rules. One, they can choose any class they want, but it has to be one of the core classes from the 2024 Player's Handbook. So that's barbarian, bard, cleric, druid, fighter, monk, paladin, ranger, rogue, sorcerer, warlock, or wizard. They do not have to choose the same ones. They each have their ability. They're going to choose 4 in total. They have a wild card pick where they can pick an additional one. So they could pick a 5th different class, or they could double up. And if they've already picked druid, they could pick a second druid. And then they're going to choose an NPC or helper. This is a non-powered person that would be part of their party. They are trying to build the best D&D party, but best is subjective. At the end, they're going to make their pitch to you as to why they have been successful and what the best means for their particular party. And then it will be turned over to you. We're going to put some polls up. We're going to find a way to let you vote, and you're going to choose which person you think did the best job. And whoever that person is, they will get the honor of being draft master for the next one of these in the future. So they will set the rules, the categories, all that kind of good stuff. So you get to help participate and let this show continue to go. The characters they have to choose from are all heroic characters, so no villains, but they also have to come from a DC live action show. So not animated, not comics, only live action, but anything that is under the DC banner that has been in live action.
Thank you, CW.
Qualifies. So interesting. But however, if someone takes someone off the board, for example, let's say someone takes Perry White as their sidekick in round 1, or their NPC helper, they will say which version of Perry White they want to take. It could be from the Smallville TV show. It could be from the Man of Steel movie. It could be from the Christopher Reeve original Superman movie. They will share that with us. That version, that character is in off the board. So no other version of Perry White is applicable anymore. They're gone. Does that make sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
We are also doing snake draft format, which means we will pick orders 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, and so on until everyone has taken all 6 picks. We did roll beforehand, and our order will be Lee Wanika, Sergio, and then Chris. So those will be the orders that we go in. Each person will have 2 minutes on the clock until they put in their choice. They will send that to me in chat. I will be the one that announces it. And we're going to try to do some hopefully fun color commentary stuff as we go. So one last time, anybody have any questions or anything we need to do before we dive into the draft?
DC does have a multiverse, and I'm assuming the whole, you take one character off, that covers the multiverse as well, unless it's a wholesale different character, Supergirl versus Power Girl, Earth 1 or 2 kind of thing.
Correct, yes. Just
Jay Garrick Flash versus Barry Allen.
Yeah. Flash is the Flash. So once you've taken the Flash, they are off the board of whatever version you were to take. There are some cases where, for example, Hal Jordan Green Lantern is different than Guy Gardner Green Lantern. I would say that either you could take one of each of those because you're not taking Green Lantern, you're taking the name character. If there's a question, I will be the final arbiter. We'll get into it. I don't think it'll be an issue, but in generally speaking, yes, if someone takes a named character, then that person is off the board, all variants, all types. All right. Good. So with that out of the way, I think everything's going. It seems like we're still streaming live, so everything's great. So we are going to start with Lee Wanika. So you have 2 minutes. You're going to send me in chat the class and the character and then the version that you are taking. Okay. I don't know if you can see.
No idea who he's going to
Lee
pick.
Wanika is wearing a Superman shirt. So I have to think that he's going with the Flash. Like he's going to throw a curveball, taking the Flash. So I guess my question to both Sergio and Chris, which version of Superman do we think he's taking? We don't know that he is, but assuming he is, which version is he taking? Live
Lee
action
Wanika is actually older than me, believe it or not. And that's old. Old as dirt.
Shots fired.
Old as sin. So it's definitely going to be Christopher Reeve.
Okay.
I would think so too.
I mean,
Or,
technically oh my God, my brain just fried the
George Reeves?
No, from
I was going to say, he's not that old.
no, from the Nicolas Cage version of Superman is eligible because of the Flash movie.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. You're 100% right. I mean, I don't think it'd be Dean Cain. I don't think it'd be Tom Welling.
Technically, I don't know. Well, no, he in the final episode he did put on the suit.
He suited up. But
so many good choices.
It's definitely going to be. Well, I mean, and he could surprise us. It could be Henry Cavill, who was a great Superman.
Oh. Terrible scripts, terrible direction.
He was a great Superman.
Casting. All right. Yeah. Did you send it to me? Because I don't see it yet, Leonika. Okay. Oh, okay. So with our first official draft in our DC party through DC or D&D party through DC characters, I'll get that better. Leonika has chosen Superman, the Tyler Hoechlin version from the Superman and Lois CW TV show. My apologies if I mispronounced that. All right, give us the pitch. Why did you go with this version?
I love nearly every Superman who has ever donned the cape, like all of them. I mean, even when I went back and watched the old Kirk Allen stuff from the 30s, because I have watched those, there has never been a Superman on film that I haven't said, I love this character. He's one of my all-time favorite fictional characters, and I love them. But the thing about Tyler Hoechlin, which I think he has better over every Superman, is he feels real to me. He feels lived and lived in. If you watch that very first episode where they showed him kind of aged back just a little bit to be his first adventure, and they gave him that classic Action Comics #1 where he says a thing and he goes and he picks up the kid's hat and he puts it on the kid's head and he has a smile bigger than the kid. Like, I felt that joy. I was 4 years old picking up my first four-color comic again when I saw that. Yep. And when the kid's like, nice suit, and he's like, thanks, my mom made that for me.
I fell in love at that moment.
There's absolutely no better moment. That's one of the quintessential Superman moments of all time. And then you add in all the pathos that he put into the character playing a dad of teenagers going through real world stuff, kids with addiction issues, kids with girl problems, navigating, what he tells his wife when he goes off and does things that he probably ought not do, what friends he lets in on secrets, and, and all this with the backdrop that he's living down the road from his childhood girlfriend. He had complications, heaped on complications that no other Superman in the shows have ever had. And I really appreciate how well that was done. The actor's fantastic. The character's great. And Lord have mercy, the times they showed him throwing down with big bads, Bizarro, Doomsday, dude, he hammered down when it came to it. He was the Superman who put the fight in fight.
So he
didn't have the giant budgets, but he's my guy. And the answer is Paladin. No question.
Okay, that was my question.
No question.
Paladin. Okay.
I was getting there, but there's no question. He is the Paladin of not only the DC universe, he is the Paladin of the fictional universe. He is the guy. The only person who comes close to a Paladin in my mind, as far as universally, Sturm Brightblade.
All right. Fantastic. Well, I think that was not quite a shocking pick, but I think a very well explained pick, and I really like it. So Sergio, that puts you on the clock, my friend. 2 minutes.
Puts me on the clock. Okay, let's see.
All right. So Leonika, obviously you got first pick. That's your, you can't be upset about that. How confident are you right now that with that first pick, you've already got this locked down? The other 5 picks don't matter.
I think they greatly matter because there are some big DC heroes that somebody will snap up. But I think the key to success with this draft, more so than others, is not just the character you pick, but the role you place them in. Because there are characters that can do kind of dual roles here or there, but if you put the right character in the wrong role and somebody gets a better character for that role, all of a sudden their party's looking better than yours. And that's really the secret sauce to this draft. Where do you place them?
So, Sergio, I absolutely adore the fact that you're doing some space work in the screen. So, anyone, if you're listening to this audio only, you are not getting the full
I get a full effect. Yeah.
Exactly. So, got to watch it live. Got to go to YouTube. Remember that kind of thing. Yeah. So again, I think I didn't say anything, but yeah, send them directly to me, not to everyone. And with the first pick, his first pick, I should say.
Second overall,
Sergio is taking Michael Keaton's Batman as a monk. All right, let's hear it.
When Batman 1989 dropped, it was a cultural touchstone. And then Batman Returns. I remember it was one of those first few times that like everyone I knew had seen this movie. Like everyone on the planet had seen Batman Returns. The toys were everywhere, the video games were everywhere, and I grew up loving Batman. And so for me, in terms of live action, Michael Keaton is my Batman. And it was really great seeing him again in the role in the newest Flash movie. And so he's the world's greatest detective. He's genius level IQ, Olympic level athlete. I mean, he is the perfection of humanity personified with the most messed up, like tragic storyline and probably not mentally well as a result. But he's my guy. He's going to be the leader of my team. And I picked Monk because, I mean, he's a master at hand-to-hand combat. Oh. Like I could have, it wasn't an option, but if Artificer was on the table, he definitely would have been an Artificer. But with the core classes we have at hand, Monk is where I'm going.
Yeah, you had asked me a couple questions, and I kind of thought I might know what they were going for, because I think you also ask if he would count as the NPC, because technically he doesn't have powers, and I was like, no, because I let Black Widow slide in Marvel, but I don't think I would have let Batman slide here.
I was definitely trolling, because I mean, no one's going to pick Batman as an NPC.
Yeah, no, that would have been pretty darn funny though. So I haven't said it yet, but I think, because I'm really loving the conversation that we're having, but just to keep things streamlined, I think what I'm going to do in the future, starting with Chris, is once Chris gives his pick, the clock will start for the next person while we're having the conversation about who they picked and why. But since Chris is on the turn, he actually gets 2 picks in a row.
Back to back.
Back to back. So this is the strength. He goes third, but he gets 2 in a row. So this is going to be, hopefully we're going to see some interesting picks. Now, pretty sure Superman and Batman, like again, those were the first 2 that I expected to go. Wasn't sure about Paladin and Monk. I actually think those are some interesting choices. I think they're both perfectly valid. In fact, I love them. But where do we think we're going now? Because the 2 biggies, I mean, I think Wonder Woman, the Trinity, you got to think Wonder Woman is in the mix, but the live action versions of Wonder Woman, few and far between, if at all, honestly. So I'm just curious if anybody wants to throw out where they think Chris might go before I actually look.
I mean, personally, when I'm a huge fan of fantasy football. I've been doing it for 15, 20 years. So I'm well versed in this style of competition. And so I have, like if I was like, all right, this is who I'm going to pick with my first pick, who I'm going to pick with second. If I'm a third, this is who I'm going to pick. So that's how I had it rounded out. This is going exactly as I had planned. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman is who I would have picked if I was a third pick. I don't know Chris personally. Maybe he's got an ace up his sleeve. Maybe he wants to, maybe wants to zig when everyone thinks he's going to zag. But it'd be interesting to see.
All right. So the wait is over. Because you're going on the turn, I'm not going to worry about putting you back on the clock. You can explain your pick, and then you'll have time to go again if you need to. But with his first pick in our D&D party via DC Live Action Heroes, Chris has gone with the Flash, Barry Allen from the CW show in the Thief class.
Nice.
I think that's solid. So any explanation you want to give there,
Thief
Chris?
/ rogue?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yes.
Yeah. Thieves. I mean, what's a better rogue than a guy who can phase through walls?
Skeleton key for everything, my friend.
Yeah, he can pickpocket and you'll never see him.
I definitely have him as my number 1 rogue.
I also think the character would be fun. Mm-hmm. Because on the show, I mean, he had a lot of flaws. He had a lot of self-doubts. Like, he was a real character. He wasn't just this. Some of the versions of the Flash you see, they kind of make him as just this smart aleck, kind of overconfident superhero, and sometimes those rub me the wrong way. Maybe that's just because being the nerd in high school, the jocks, kind of acted that way, and it bugged me. But I really liked how the CW portrayed him, and I just think he'd be a fun thief to play. Of course, I'm the guy who likes characters with flaws, though, and he had flaws. The self-doubt was a big one for him. So,
all right, I love it. So while you're going back on the clock, I had brought up, obviously, Wonder Woman was the Holy Trinity, but what live actions have there been? I'm asking a genuine question. I'm trying to think right now.
I mean, well, there's Linda Carter. There's
Linda Carter.
Okay, there you go. I don't know
There's
why.
a couple of them.
Okay.
There's actually the woman before her. Then you've got the unaired but still available to see pilot with Adrian Padalecki. You also have Gal Gadot in Wonder Woman 2, part of the DCEU. She's in there twice.
The first 2/3 of that movie are great.
Yeah, I think everything but the final fight was amazing in the first Wonder Woman. Yeah. And the second Wonder Woman, well, it had a few moments here and there.
Yeah.
But
all right, Chris. Speaking of, with the second or the first, his second pick, the first pick of the second round, Chris has gone with Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot from her movie.
It's a 1-2 punch right there
in the fighter class. All right, so that means that Sergio, you are now on the clock. Chris, any comments on this pick?
And she's right up there with, almost up there with Superman with abilities. I don't want to start an argument about who's more powerful between Superman and Wonder Woman, but she's right up there. And I enjoyed the first movie, the Wonder Woman 84. Not as good.
No.
Not as good in my opinion, but I really liked the first one. You got a good sense of her backstory and a good feel of who she is. Again, I like characters that have some depth to them, and I think that they gave her some real depth, and it wasn't just this, attractive woman blocking everything with her bracers and throwing ropes around people, making them tell the truth. Though, if she were to throw a rope around me, I'm pretty sure I'd tell the truth. I'm not going to lie.
Like, this isn't even a Magic Lasso.
I might slow play that just a shade.
I put the order backwards. I will say whatever she wants me to if she will throw her lasso on me.
Right.
I just, like I said, I enjoyed that movie, and I agree the final fight scene was a little rough to watch, but it didn't ruin the movie for me. I still enjoyed it, and I liked the different kind of spin on adding in the Amazons and her kind of embracing some of that, but then leaving. And I really enjoyed that character from that movie, and I think it'd be fun to portray that character. Plus, every D&D group has to have the I'll kick the door in and do the right thing character. And I guess I could have gone Paladin with her too a little bit, but I feel like she's more, to try to embrace the Amazon aspect, I don't think that's necessarily truly a Paladin.
I think you could have went Barbarian with her, but that's another.
I thought about that, but she doesn't like rage and like just punch everything quickly. She has some control, so.
Fair enough. All right, so we are going to Sergio's second pick, which means Lewinica, you're now on the clock. You are now on the turn, so you will have 2 picks in a row. So with their second pick of the draft, Sergio has gone with Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn from the Birds of Prey movie as a rogue.
I think it kind of speaks for itself. Harley Quinn is roguelike in all of her characteristics. Someone whose coin purse you're not exactly going to have open around you, or not tucked, tightly against your hip. She is a collegiate level gymnast in her background. That's how she's able to do all her flips and kicks and stuff. And if I have someone who I want to sneak into a place and possibly steal something, I don't think I can do much better than Harley Quinzel.
And if you go to break her out and she's already broken herself out, she will reinsert herself so that you can then break her out.
Exactly.
She's a team player.
Exactly. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do this. I don't want to ruin the fun." Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. Lee Nico, are you ready with your pick?
I am ready. And anybody who's known me for any great length of time knows that I am that my number one DC character is the one I'm about to pick.
Okay.
And I will be placing this person in the rogue area, and that is Nightwing. Dick Grayson is, to me, one of the ultimate rogues of the DC universe. His infiltration skills, his disguise skills. I mean, he's practically the rogue mastermind. In addition to all his other masteries of different fighting elements, and everything else that he brings to the table, he's just the quintessential rogue, in my opinion.
And where are you taking it from? The Titans TV show?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's really his only spot.
Yeah, I understand, because I'm trying to figure out where. Yeah.
Yeah, that's his real only spot. But if I do a DC thing and I don't throw Nightwing in it, I have failed. I have failed this city.
Okay, I say Rich Howard will be happy to hear that. I believe Nightwing might be his favorite DC character of all time.
Excellent.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
so I was wondering if the Titans TV show would even appear on our list, because we have a lot of breadth, even though we are focused on live action. It does all go back all the way to like the 30s. I think there's stuff like the very first Batman and Superman, George Reeves, and
40s for Kirk Allen, and I forget the name of the actor who did Batman back then, but I think it was the early 40s when that took place.
But Titans is pretty new, but there are some very interesting characters on there, so I was interested to see. So, all right. But again, you were on the turn, so you also get the first pick of the third round. So far, everyone is picked from the core classes. No one has chose wild card yet. No one has chose their NPC sidekick. So, Lee Wanika, again, if you don't mind, send it to me for dramatic effect. I like to be the one to announce these.
I totally forgot because I was excited.
You were so excited. I get it. It's Nightwing. You know, what are you going to do, right?
Man, I forgot about the Titans TV show.
Oh,
That
sir.
slipped by me. And
what air is wrong with you?
yeah,
And while you're forgetting about that, you can forget about the Doom Patrol as well. Don't think about them.
What class, Lee Wanika? Throw that in chat as well, please.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
and I will say this is the second time we've done a draft, and I impulsed myself out of my second pick because my second pick I wrote on my sheet was Harley Quinn, and I impulsed myself out of it, and now I'm kicking myself.
All right, so we're about to announce Lee Wanika's second pick, which means, Sergio, you're back on the clock. So for their third pick, first of the third round, Lee Wanika has gone with Green Arrow from the TV show Arrow in the Ranger class.
Yeah, like this to me was an absolute no-brainer. Like must be, has to be done. Cannot possibly think of a way to do this other than by this method. As Sergio alluded to at the onset of the show, it is very clear that Arrow and the CW really got DC on TV going. I mean, all props to Smallville for its 10-year run. But when that ended, we needed something else. And there was one person who threw on the hood, picked up the bow, and he shot that target that took us the rest of the way. I wouldn't have had my first pick were it not for this pick. So Green Arrow all the way. Urban environments, wilderness environments, survival, leading teams, managing cities. He is your all-purpose hero. He is all the dang things on the TV.
All you had to say is
universe.
salmon ladder, and we all knew. Like, that salmon ladder. I'm like, okay, I know where we're at. I have a challenging history with Arrow. I think the first season of Arrow is incredible. Second season's really good. And then things get weird, in my opinion. But I still think it's a solid pick. I think that's a great choice overall. I think you're doing the Lord's work for us right here in Lee Wanika. However, I'm very excited also to mention Sergio's next pick.
It's a banger. It is a banger.
It is.
It's a bop. As the kids in the streets are saying, it slaps.
Yeah. So with his third pick, 8th overall, Sergio has taken Ryan Potter as Garfield Mark Logan, a.k.a. Beast Boy from the Titans TV show in the Druid class. I mean,
it's his power is literally wild shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was born to be a druid, baby.
Very
I'm so
solid.
angry at you, Sergio. And I, we've been through a lot behind these mics,
here's the
but
thing,
we're fighting now. We are fighting for reals.
You know, my mom always told me, baby, don't ever half-ass nothing. Use your whole ass. And
Your mom
so when
was a
Michael
wonderful,
approached me
brilliant
about
woman.
this experiment, this fun activity, I dove deep, baby. I wasn't just thinking movies. I was thinking, okay, what's the CW got?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, oh yeah, I can do Beast Boy. Well, I mean, I wasn't aware that it was a live action at first, and so I was like, I'm definitely picking Adventures of Superman, or the Batman the Animated Series, Batman.
Yep.
But once I realized it was live action, and then I was thinking like Beast Boy from Go Titans Go, and I was like, well, I could actually still pick him from Titans TV show. I mean, I think if this were a TV show, if this were if we were having sessions where maybe some of the players didn't show up, if I just had whoever was running Harley Quinn or whoever was running Beast Boy, if they're the only two that show up, those are going to be great. Those are going to be some great sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like almost like a buddy cop type energy. And so obviously Harley Quinn is lighthearted in many respects.
Yeah.
So is he, and so definitely balances what I've got with Batman.
All right, I like it. All right, Chris, that means you are now up with the final pick in our third round.
I'm gonna do this one just because I think that if I don't, it won't make it back to me.
Okay, interesting. All right, so Chris is actually going with his wild card pick. Peacemaker, John Cena version from the show Peacemaker. I'll tell you, I love the Peacemaker TV show. It is absolutely.
It was great. It was a blast.
So I think I've watched it 3 times through already. It's one of the few my wife has watched with me twice through. How much she likes it. All right, so you are the next pick, but go ahead and give me a little background on why you went with this version.
Again, trying to make my D&D party. You've got Wonder Woman and the Flash who are always going to want to do the right thing. Peacemaker kind of does the right thing, but he's going to be the guy that kind of pulls the trigger, and then everybody's going to wait. Oh, I thought that was the plan. I think it'd just be kind of fun to have that little bit of a difference in the party. If I hadn't already taken a fighter, I could have thrown him in as a barbarian, but to me, they're very similar, so I liked using the wild card for that one.
All right, so you still have to pick which class, though. So since you're using wild card, are you doubling up on fighter, or are you putting them a barbarian, paladin? Like, where do you see Peacemaker?
I can't see him as a paladin.
Oath of Vengeance, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has his moral compass. I mean, however skewed it may be.
Yeah, I think he'd have to go in there as a fighter.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. But yeah, that Peacemaker TV show is incredible. All right.
I mean, could be a spellcaster the way he enchanted us with those dance moves.
You maybe even a bard. He plays the piano on that one episode. It was great. To leave a quick question, you can pick them whenever you want. They could have been your first pick if you wanted them to be. So part of the strategy is when you take who you take. So yeah, you can take them whenever you'd like.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, my question was more just because I lost the lead on that at one point, was how many total picks do we have?
6.
Six total other than.
So you have 4 core, wild card, and then NPC, but they don't have to go in that order. So you have 6 picks total. And Chris is ready here with his 9th pick overall, first in the 4th round. He is going with Raven from the TV show Titans as Wizard.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know the name of the actress. My apologies. I also would have taken Warlock for that one. So
I like
or Cleric. She does have a power where she heals people.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I would have either gone Cleric or Warlock myself, but
I always forget about Warlock. Is that that is core.
It is a core class. So that means Sergio, you're back on the clock. All right, Chris, give me some thoughts on this character and why you took him here.
As a player, I always like helping the GM a little bit, and her backstory is just a gift to a GM.
Yeah.
let's talk about your family, so to speak. I mean, that's just a nice way of helping the GM with the story and keeping things going. I think it'd also be a fun character to play. You know, that troubled teenager that's trying not to embrace the dark part of themselves and trying to do the right thing, but also is still a little depressed and trying to find herself. So I think it'd be a fun one to play. Like I said, I'm going with, I told you beforehand, I'm picking the characters that I think would be fun to play. I made the mistake last time of trying to pick things that I thought would get me the votes, and I'm not worried about the votes this time. I mean, I want the party I would like to have at a table, because I think it also with Raven and Peacemaker and Wonder Woman and the Flash so far, you're going to have a lot of interplay with characters, and it's not going to just be the PCs looking at the GM going, all right, now what? Like, there's going to be some cool role-playing moments, especially again, Peacemaker pulling the trigger early and Raven like, he deserved it.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right. So, Leonika, I'm going to let you make your pick here, and then we're going to take a quick pause. I'm going to do a recap as we go into the back half. But Leonika Sergio has already picked. Then Leonika will close us out. So, for the 11th pick overall, I love that Sergio's including this. 4th pick for him, he is taking Deadshot as portrayed by Will Smith in the Suicide Squad movie in the Ranger class.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was thinking of what characters could fit which class, I mean, obviously Ranger, Green Arrow. Didn't think he was going to be on the table this late. I was correct. So I was thinking, well, who else has that ability? Well, Deadshot, for sure. Will Smith is one of the greatest living actors of our time. Has a one hell of a slap. So if he does end up losing his weapon, he still has some hand-to-hand combat.
It's like Goldeneye. He's like slap.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I mean, just having a ranged attack is always beneficial when it comes to rounding out a party. You have too much melee, if then you get sort of pigeonholed into one type of combat. So trying to expand a little bit, trying to make it as well-rounded as possible, while also keeping in line with the sort of kind of attitude that I got going on. I've kind of sort of grim and gritty with a side of attitude and flair and humor, with Batman and Deadshot juxtaposed with Harley Quinn and Beast Boy. I think so far this is a very Abbott and Costello type of party that can play off of each other for sure.
All right, I love it. All right, so Leonika, send me your final pick of the 4th round.
Oof. This is there's a couple different things I was thinking and a couple different ways I want to go, but with some of the characters that are off the board and some of the characters that I think would really work for various parts of a D&D party, I immediately thought of Swamp Thing as the druid, and I meant to send it to you, and
you killed me.
Went off at
Kill
the
me,
mouth again.
Smalls.
There's literally like a rule to follow when it comes to making your picks.
Which version? Because there was a couple movies in the 80s, and then there was a short-lived TV show that did even see air, CW, that it came out like 2 episodes or something?
No, it aired a full series. I own it. Good series, strong series. I will go with the 82 movie because it's formative in my life. But I think Alec, the character of Swamp Thing, is amazing. He has deep comic book lore that never made it on film in the shows. But I think as a druid, protecting nature, defending the natural environment is a core that has been in those live action performances that I think fills the druid role. And he's really, really tough to beat. So since my other druid pick got stolen, I will definitely take this one.
Yeah, I actually also would have seen Swamp Thing as a warlock, or maybe even like cleric, like the green as a patron might have worked. And the live action versions obviously have probably not lived up to some of the other heroes, but in the comics, pound for pound, Swamp Thing might be right up there with Superman as powerful. Like he basically can control the earth in some versions of the canon. So we're going to do a quick recap here. So I actually meant to do this after the third round, but I forgot. So blame me. But so 4 rounds in, Lee Wanika has Superman from the Superman and Lois TV show and their Paladin. They have Dick Grayson, Nightwing, as their Rogue from the Titans TV show. Green Arrow from the Arrowverse TV show as their Ranger. And now Swamp Thing from the 1982 movie Swamp Thing as their Druid. Sergio has Michael Keaton's Batman in their monk role. They have Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn from the Birds of Prey movie as their Rogue. And then they have Ryan Potter as Garfield, aka Beast Boy from the Titans TV show. And of course, Deadshot, as portrayed by Will Smith from the Suicide Squad movie, as the Ranger. And then Chris has The Flash, Barry Allen edition from the CW TV show in the Rogue. Wonder Woman from the first Gal Gadot movie as their Fighter. John Cena's Peacemaker from the Peacemaker TV show as Fighter, actually as their wild card fighter. And of course, Raven from the TV show Titans as Wizard. So we are moving into the back half. We have 4, 5. We only have 2 picks left. So everybody, except for Chris, has their wild card, as well as everybody has their NPC/helper role. Lee Wanika is kicking things off. Did it correctly. Thank you, sir. Has taken the first pick in the 5th round, Shazam, a.k.a. Captain Marvel from the Shazam movie,
Shazam,
as Warlock. All right.
Yes.
So, Sergio, you're on the clock. Lee Wanika, let's hear about this pick.
So, looking at what DC characters as depicted in their film or their live action roles most closely assembled, you could certainly go fighter, you could certainly go paladin with Shazam, but the reality is he is a warlock. He is using the power bestowed upon him by an otherworldly entity of insane amounts of power. He literally possesses the power of the various ancient gods by way of the wizard Shazam. So there's no, I think, more clear-cut definition of warlock other than possibly Raven that you could find. There are probably a few other characters that might qualify. One could come up with a few different options, but I think Shazam is a strong, and in this case, as strong as Atlas, use case for warlock.
All right. I like it quite a lot. All righty. Sergio, on the spot.
always.
Is this your NPC sidekick pick?
Yes.
Okay. So with their 5th pick and 14th overall, Sergio has taken Oracle, aka Barbara Gordon from the Birds of Prey TV show as NPC.
7.
Are you kidding me?
I did
7.
not think Birds of Prey TV show would land.
I so didn't think that. I was saving that pick for last because that was going to be my. I just won the game pick. Dang!
You
Now,
sniped.
See, that's what I'm saying. That if you don't have the experience in this kind of competition, you're gonna make rookie mistakes. I know how y'all think. You're thinking, okay, well, NPC, I'll save that for last. Everyone saves the kicker for last. But me, I'm gonna get the best NPC that in my opinion, before the last round. And for me, that's Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl, aka Oracle. She's in the ear. She's at the computer. She's making sure everything is going according to plan.
She is the quintessential person in a chair.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. And like I said, I can't. I wouldn't want anyone else. I was thinking like, okay, I could go Alfred. He's just a butler. He's he's gonna do?
He's
like
also
make me some soup.
He also was it
MI6?
I don't want to say anything because there's still other people. Okay, fair enough.
But he's a geezer. He's a geezer. I need someone young. I get some virality.
I love it.
You stole my boy's girl.
All right.
You stole my boy's girl.
So Chris gets to make his final 2 choices on the turn. So he will be taking his 5th and 6th pick together. 6th pick, he's back to one of the core classes because he took his wild card already. And with that pick, he has taken Jason Momoa's Aquaman, Druid.
Wild pick this late. That you got some value on that one, sir.
I think it would be fun to play the character that everybody's like, your power is just talking to fish. And you're like, no, really, I have a Triton that can do a lot of things. I can punch things, and yeah, I can talk to fish too. And I
mean,
can
yes,
swim
I
and-
can't talk to fish, but that's not all I can do.
Going back to my theme of what character do I want to play, I think that could be fun in a party. Again, especially when you tie in like Peacemaker, who's like, I just shot something. What can you do, fish talker? And I think it could be fun. No, you have
And
to
the
have
way
the right
Peacemaker says fish talker, that's
Yeah.
like he just says it with just vile intent.
I don't think he would say fish talker. I'm pretty sure that would be a different
Well-
version. But again, this show, PG-13. Peacemaker.
Right,
is
HBO
not.
Max.
Yes.
This
absolutely.
is not the boys' third season or third season or whatever.
So does that mean, as a druid, his top scores would be charisma and constitution, not wisdom, right? Like he is not a min-maxed druid.
No, definitely Constitution because he can hold his breath for a long. Well, he breathes water, but still could hold his breath and swim and all that fun stuff. But like I said, that could be a good mix with the group.
Okay, interesting. All right, and then you're going to get our first pick of our 6th round. You have not taken your NPC sidekick character, so that's basically all you have left. So when you are ready, sir, I'll give you a couple minutes. You don't have to do it right away. Anybody want to take some shots? So we already got a couple off the board. So who do we think Chris is going to take here? Again, if you could be filling him in because he has not sent it to me yet, but any thoughts on where Chris might go here? Final pick.
Well, I'm going to be salty because the last 2 picks taken were on my list.
Okay.
They were actually the last 2 picks were my next 2 picks in order. I'm actually sitting here rolling through the Rolodex for what I have to do to kind of fill out now. Like I'm lost. I'm just lost.
Oh man, I know that look. I've gone through enough fantasy drafts to know that look. You're shuffling through papers. You're like looking to see if other people have already been taken.
So he's actually doing what you were miming at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, exactly. Lost in the sauce.
Yep. All right. Was not what I thought. Not saying that's good or bad, but wasn't what I thought. So with his final choice, 6th round NPC sidekick, Chris has gone with Stephen Trevor, the Chris Pine version from the Wonder Woman movie.
I mean, you gotta have her boy.
That's true. You got the both there. So Sergio, you're on the clock.
You gotta keep Big Mama happy.
All right. So talk to me. Why are we going here?
Think about the fun role-playing moments when Wonder Woman's having that moral dilemma because Peacemaker has blown somebody's head off, or Raven's done something with her or her family's jumped in, and she just needs somebody to talk to, and he's the guy that's going to keep her in the party and keep her calm, and that's her kind of driving force in a way. I think he could turn around and be the heart of the party in a way because his character really kind of was in the movie. Mm-hmm. And I think that he doesn't have powers other than he's just charismatic and happened to land a plane in the wrong island, and he's in the right spot. I think the rest of the party could kind of embrace him too, and possibly he could start using some of his morality to turn Peacemaker to shoot maybe half a second slower.
Being incredibly good looking is a superpower in and of itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I know. I suffer with it every day, but it's fine.
You would know amongst more than anyone.
Exactly. Yes, you live that.
And I also think some interactions with the player playing the Flash could be fun, because the Flash, again, he's still trying to get some confidence, and here's a fighter pilot like, hey, I've faced danger, buddy, and I don't have your abilities, so if I can do it, so can you. So like I said, I think he could be real the heart of the party. And not like you're just quirky, hey, I'm 17 and, I'm a good kid and so should you. I just think it'd be a different role on that, a different flair for it.
Okay. All right. Well, I am happy to see how this thing wraps up. Sergio, again, Johnny on the spot, already knows what's going on. I think your experience, maybe this might be the pick that truly where that shines.
This one, when I realized this was on the table, I fist pumped.
Yep.
End of Breakfast Club, Judd Nelson fist pumped into the air.
This is one of those knows the rules, and is working within them to the letter of the law.
Mhm.
And so with their final pick, Sergio has taken Dominic Cooper's version of Jesse Custer, aka the Preacher, from the Preacher TV show, which does fall under the DC banner, in Warlock.
I mean, you
Nice.
don't get more Warlock than having a half angelic, half demonic entity inserted into your body that gives you powers. You know, he has a vampire best friend, a hard drinking girlfriend named Tulip. You know, is not above getting into a bout of fisticuffs. But when things get too hairy, he can always use the word. Can always use his powers. And I mean, he's a warlock through and through. Like I said, I tried to, as much as possible, try to adhere to what these characters would be. You know, Batman being relatively, for the most part, unarmed. You know, he does have his gadgets. Where does he get those wonderful toys? But he is a world class, martial artist, monk. You know, Harley Quinn, an acrobat known to steal stuff. Sounds like a rogue to me. Beast Boy, literally, like I said, his power is wild shape. That's a druid. Deadshot, he's a ranger, for crying out loud. And like I said, Jesse Custer is a warlock. He has another planar entity inside of his body that he has made some kind of pact with.
All right, I like it. You little jumped the gun with the rundown, but you're going to get a chance to do that again.
Oh yeah, I just love my team.
All right, and then Lee Wanika, you get the final pick of the draft. The only thing you have not chosen yet is your NPC sidekick. So when you are ready, present it. So while we were waiting, so I will do this. So what's going to happen is once this is done, each of you will get a chance to make your case. What was the best you were going for? Stealthiest, most powerful, most versatile, most kissable. Your choice. You're going to make the case. So you are going to run down through all your picks. Just make it easier on me. So you'll go through all 6 picks, who you picked, your version, all that kind of stuff, and then make your pitch for what is that best version you were going for. Again, that is when it goes to the listener or the watcher, the viewer. You're going to get a chance to vote. We are going to try to put some polls up on social media, but not all of us have social media on the places that can do polls anymore. So it can just be a comment. So you can comment here on the YouTube. You can go to Blue Sky. You can go to Facebook. Anywhere we have social medias, we will make a post. You can make a comment. You can justify it, who you thought did the best. You can give us your version of who you would have taken each of the rounds. But ultimately, we will count up those votes. That person will be declared the winner, and they will become draft master for the next one of these, setting the rules, conditions, categories, and the like. But before that, we have one more to go. I'm gonna have to push back here, Luanika. This cannot be a person with powers, and you picked a person. So it's not just an NPC. This is a sidekick helper, non-powered, one of the categories. So I'm sorry that I have to veto Lucifer from the TV show Lucifer because they have powers.
Because nobody wants to give the devil his due. That's
right.
really what it comes down to.
So I did not say initially, but there was a 1 minute extension available if needed. So you are now on your 1 minute extension.
How about
that person has powers?
Okay.
Interesting though, Sergio, that you went with Preacher, because I almost went with a character very similar.
This she's so far down on my list. I'm hoping I can find her name within the seconds of waiting.
Oh, there's so many non-powered.
Yeah, but on live action that I think will stand out. That's actually where the key for me.
How do you not pick your favorite hero's favorite person?
Or his pal.
There's a reason, and it has to do with the team I'm trying to build.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Fair enough.
And so I'm going to have to go with the character who was by design kind of recreated. The character's name existed before, but was recreated within the confines of the show.
All right, remember to type it to Michael.
In that this character basically filled a role that was originally in the comics by another character. Also done in Smallville, there's a character who filled that role as well. but I'm going to go with the one that I listed here.
I think this is a polarizing pick. You may have won or lost with that pick.
Just on this pick. That's
Yeah.
why it was so far down in my. It was very far down because it's not the one that I wanted first. But
Okay.
for the team I'm building, it is absolutely the role that is needed.
All right. So we will see.
Interesting.
So
Sure.
final pick in our draft. Again, this is the D&D party via DC Heroes live action only. The first official episode of Tabletop Cafe. Lee Wanika has gone in the NPC/sidekick role, Felicity Smoke from the CW show Arrow. Also, I would say basically is sort of a watchtower, sort of an oracle role.
Yep.
Right,
so,
right.
All right, so justify it.
Like a Tamu oracle for sure.
Yeah. Well,
Fiverr.
I would say Chloe Sullivan is the Timu Oracle. In fact, she actually used the name in the show, which was after it had been done for years in the comic books. But Felicity Smoke, one fantastic character, extremely well acted, so well loved in the show that they actually gave her a recurring role and made her a major character when that was never by design what she was there to do. The skills as displayed in the show, her computer acumen, her ability to kind of build team, connect Oliver to other characters. She was effectively the catalyst that got the Flash going. She did all these other things within the scope of that team. In many regards, the character as displayed on television was even better than Barbara in that regard. Her skill set, not to Barbara's level by any means in comic or TV, as far as I'm concerned, but she was very useful. And as part of my team, we need that research. We need that computer backup. We need that organizational skill. We need that, let's piece this together. Let's get the right people in the right places to make this team effective. And I originally had, my team always had a person in that role. There are really 3 characters in the televised DC universe that can do it. So the fact that 2 of them are gone is not a surprise to me. I was just surprised that I didn't get the other one.
Okay. All right. So that's when we'll roll in. So recap all of your picks. You don't have to give it just list them. And then What was the team you were going for? What is your best that you think your team meets?
Are we starting with me? Or are we starting with
you?
Okay.
Yep.
So I've got Superman as a paladin. I have Green Arrow as a ranger. I have Nightwing as a rogue. I have Swamp Thing as a druid. I have Shazam as a warlock. And I have Felicity Smoke in my NPC sidekick organizational role. The team I was going for was quite literally, without knowing I wasn't going to get the Trinity, was to have the characters who were arguably the biggest and baddest in their area. Superman, the #1 hero in DC. Green Arrow as a ranger, he is really the guy for that role as well. Swamp Thing is a druid. He's he is an elemental, as you said, Michael, on par with Superman and some of the others as far as where he is in his niche. And Shazam. This is a character who can fight and actually can beat Superman simply because of his infusion of magic. Mm-hmm. And I think that's key. I've got a team that's got all the power. I've got a team that's got all the brains, ridiculous stealth with Nightwing and Green Arrow, mastermind skills aplenty between Nightwing and Felicity Smoke, and magical defensiveness and power through Shazam. And we've got the very fabric of the earth in the Swamp Thing. I literally wanted to build a team that was the biggest and the baddest, and there are very few characters on this that are a slouch in any kind of conflict.
All right. I love it. All right. That brings us to Sergio. So please recap your picks and then sell us on what your team is the best of.
All right. So Michael Keaton, Batman as a monk. And then I've got as a rogue, I've got Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. And then as a druid, I've got Beast Boy from Titans. And then Will Smith's Deadshot as my ranger. I've got a warlock as with Jesse Custer from the Preacher TV show, and then as my NPC organizational, I've got Oracle. I've got the actual Oracle, aka Barbara Gordon. I know Willie Winique will never forgive me for sniping that pick, but like I said, I wanted to pick characters that most closely aligned with the D&D class. There's really no argument that you can make against how I paired the character and the class. And so I wanted to be as true to the class as possible while also trying to build a team that if I made these characters up, if I made up character sheets for all these characters and ran a one shot, I would want my table to have fun with it. And I think that with these characters, they would have a whole lot of fun.
All right. No argument from me on that. And all right, Chris, you are the last one to go here. So again, recap your picks and then tell us what your best of you were going for.
All right. Well, I started off with the Flash as my thief because again, he can phase through just about anything. He can pickpocket and you'll never know it. You could do the old I stole your pants and you'd never know it.
Shoelaces tied together.
Yep. I went with then Wonder Woman because we all need that powerful fighter that can stand up to just about anybody. I went with Peacemaker as my wild card / another fighter because I think his character is very entertaining. Then I went with Raven. I did put Wizard down, but I agree with you guys. She's more of a warlock, but part of the reason I went with Wizard is my brain still sometimes goes into the original Teen Titans that I watched where she always had a book and was chanting and stuff, so I have a hard time thinking about her other than that. I went with Aquaman as my druid, which might have been one of the best value picks if you're into value picks for things.
Absolutely.
And then I took Captain Steve Trevor as my last pick there as my NPC or non-powered character, I guess. Shouldn't say NPC because he's not going to be run by the GM. But really, like I said, my goal is to pick the group that I think myself and everybody would have the most fun playing at the table. Also, having the third pick, for those that haven't done drafts, that changes your strategy drastically because if I'd had the first pick, it would have been Batman for sure, and then I would have gone from there. But having Batman taken first, it changes your strategy after that, which is one of the reasons why I love doing drafts because you have to kind of think on your feet a little bit and reshuffle stuff. But I still think this would be a very fun group to play with. You've got some good morals with the Flash and Wonder Woman, and then not so much with Peacemaker and the kind of the tortured character with Raven, and then Aquaman. If you play him right, trying to prove that he's not just the fish talker, and then you get
Talker,
the heart of the party,
you
I
said.
said.
So sorry, you said talker. Okay.
Yeah. Which, I mean, for people that know Aquaman in the comics, I mean, he's very strong. He can survive under the depths, and rumor is his trident could take Superman out. Ooh. But I'm not going to confirm that because I don't write the books. But that's one of the rumors I've heard. But like I said, this time we've done a couple of these drafts, and before I never really looked at what would be the group I'd want at the table. And that was my main focus today was how could I have players interacting with each other? Because as a GM, that's always one of my goals. At the same time, though, as a player, how do I help the GM with stories? Because I'm the guy that likes to make it easy for everybody. So I feel like I picked a team that encourages good role-playing and helps the GM. I mean, there's a ton of different things you can do. I mean, again, Raven's background. I mean, Aquaman's home is always being attacked. I mean, the Peacemaker's going to shoot the wrong person, and now you've got some issues. And
going to end up doing that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's going to be flying in an invisible jet, and somebody's going to freak out because there's just this random beautiful woman flying through the air, and what do you do there? And then, I mean, the Flash is just going to be trying to be too nice. So,
awesome. All right. Well, and now the power is turned over to you, dear listener and dear viewer. So there, again, you can comment on this episode directly. Just list the person or the team that you think, again, is the quote unquote best. You can also comment on what your choices would have been. And we'll have some social media. So Blue Sky, I'll probably throw something on TikTok for the next 4 hours before it gets canceled. We'll probably put something on Facebook, maybe Twitter if any of us are still there. And we're going to try to figure out who gets the most votes. Now, I will say in the past, we've had a ton of fun with these, but we've never had that many votes. I think the most we ever got on a single episode was 20. So I will go ahead and commit, if we can get to 100 total votes, I'll put together a one shot. So whoever wins, ooh, I'll put together a one shot, and we can actually only play 3, but we'll play 3 of these characters in a one shot. So get us to 100 votes. We'll make that happen as well. Final time, go around the horn, sign off. You can plug away wherever you want. Chris, where can people find you? Where can they interact with you, sir?
Soon, I think in February, we're going to be starting back up with Smuggler's Blues. We took off some time. It's our season break, we call it. We're actually bringing on a new player who's going to bring on a new character that's going to add some excitement into the cast of our misfits on the Kralitz Fang there in Star Wars world. You find me on Discord's really the only social media I do. And you can find me on Tabletop Journeys. You can find me in the RPG Academy and a few others. Otherwise, you can find me here when we do this. I think we're talking every other week.
Every other week.
Whatever our schedule is.
Yeah. We're gonna try Tabletop Cafe every other week live on YouTube, and then I think it'll go audio only at some point in the future. All right, Lee Wanika.
You're muted.
I'm Lee Wanika of Tabletop Journeys, and I can be found right here on the Tabletop Journeys YouTube channel. We're also on Spotify. We have an amazing group community on Facebook under the same name, Tabletop Journeys. We are doing a whole lot of things. Honestly, I would say the ideas that you see here are the kinds of things that we talk about when we're putting together games to run or to play in. And we run a Star Trek game, which we air on Tuesdays, an actual play, Star Trek Reservations. But we also monthly with our Patreons play Star Trek Adventures RPG 2nd edition with our patrons. We have a great game there. It's been going on for over a year now. A wonderful time, played in the same universe as the actual play, and you can even see us live at conventions all through 2025, where at every convention I'm going to, I'm running at least one, in most cases 2 or 3 sessions of Star Trek Adventures through the campaign we call Star Trek Aegis, and that is also in that same shared universe. So the audience who listens to our shows or watches our shows here on YouTube can play in the games that inform what our actual play cast has to deal with, providing them with the resources they get to use to save the galaxy. And I think that's pretty hot. If you want to join the Patreon, just go right to our Patreon site. Links will be somewhere in the descriptions. We'll get those added here for you. But join us. Low cost out of pocket to be a member of the Patreon if you can. Even if you can't, even free members will occasionally, if we have an empty seat at the table, we'll put out invites to say, hey, we got a couple empty seats at our games. And in 2025, we're going to start branching out, doing a lot more games, a lot more systems. So this is just going to get bigger and bigger and better and better.
Fantastic. All right, Sergio.
Host of the Dungeons and Dragons Lorecast. We're a weekly D&D lore podcast. We have a different topic every week. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had those jokers over from Tabletop Journeys, Lee Wanika and Josh, on the show talking the history of Greyhawk. Like I said, give us a topic and I'll research it. And because you're not going to threaten me with a good time by looking at my D&D books. Anywhere, all social media at DND, the letters DND Lorecast. We have our own Discord. We're always talking. And again, go pick my team. I mean, I could forgive you if you picked Chris's team. Chris's team is solid. But if you pick Lee Wanika, I have 2 people on my team that Lee Wanika is mad because he didn't get to pick. So, I mean, really and truly, I have the best team because Lee Wanika is upset that he didn't have the team. Like I said, if you pick Chris's team, that's fine. I'll understand. I won't like it, but I'll understand. But I literally stole picks from Lee Wanika that he's mad about, so there's no way he could have a better team than me.
Point of order. You have
20 seconds. Go.
You have 2 picks out of all 6 that I wanted for my team, and I'm very happy with the picks I have.
I mean, that's like 35% of your team. Not good at math.
But your other picks were not as good as any of my picks or my team as a whole.
We'll see what the people say. Right. Well, it doesn't matter what you say. What are the people saying?
I'll put it to you this way: there's not one person on your team that I was intending to pick for my team other than those 2.
Okay,
that's what I'll say.
But again, is now in the hands of the audience. So please find our social medias on Blue Sky, on Facebook, comment below here on YouTube. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel here. If you enjoy any of this sort of content at all, hopefully you had some enjoyment here. Join Chris and I every other week, Wednesday night, around 8 p.m. usually. Sometimes I go 9 p.m. It's going to do Tabletop Cafe. Will be sort of a quick hit, small, juicy bits of good GMing goodness that you can use at your table. Sometimes it'll be just us talking about things we're doing, all that kind of good stuff. Sean, thank you for jumping in. Hopefully you've had a good time with us as well. Again, hopefully you enjoy this content and you'll see us back. And again, if we can get to 100 votes across all the different platforms, we'll put together a one shot and we'll actually get to see how some of these characters play together. And with that, we will say good night. And remember, folks, if you're having fun, you're doing it right. Bye.
Good night, all.
Good night.
And to my son, if you pick Sergio's